Alright, so on the first one, we're looking at finding the prime factorization of the number. So what are two factors that make 360?
1, 2 times
3 and 1.
3 and 120. Okay. What are two factors that make 120?
16.
Okay, what are 30? That's not very good. 30 and 2. Okay. How many 2's do I have?
3.
3. How many 3's do I have?
2.
How many 5's do I have? So your prime factorization is 2 cubed times 3 squared times 5. Alright, any questions on number 1? Okay. Alright, so number 2, 150. What are two factors that make 150?
50.
50 and 3. Okay, what are two factors that make 50? 25 and 2. What are two factors that make 25? 5 and 5. Okay, how many 2's do I have? How many 3's do I have? How many 5's do I have? Yay! Alright, so any questions on number 2? No? Alright. Number 3, what are my factors of 13? 13 and 1. So what does that tell me about the type of number that I have? It's prime. Very good. Alright, so any questions on number 3? Alright, then number 4, 5, and 6 tell us to find the GCF of our monomials. So I'm given negative 3t to the 4th and 8t squared. What goes into 3 and 8? 1. What's my smallest exponent? T squared. 2 is my smallest exponent. So 1t squared.
That's easy.
That's easy.
2.
Alright, so it goes into 2 and 12. 2, what's my smallest exponent?
1.
Why? It's my job to make it easy. Alright, 13a and 14b. What goes into 13 and 14? 1. Do they have any letters in common? No, so just 1.
Yesterday.
It was all review. Alright, so moving on to number 7, that's where we begin factoring. Okay, what goes into 24 and 4? 4, what's my smallest exponent? M squared. Okay. What's 24m squared divided by 4m squared? 6. What's 4m cubed divided by 4m squared? 1m. That's it. Alright, so any questions on 7? Alright, on number 8, 9x to the 5th minus 12x. What goes into 9 and 12? 3x. Okay, what's 9x to the 5th divided by 3x? X to the 4th, okay. And what's 12x divided by 3x? Negative 4. Alright, so number 9, we're factoring 10x cubed plus 4x squared minus 25x squared minus 10. It says hint rewrite it in standard form first. What does standard form mean? In order from greatest to least. Your exponent's in order from greatest to least. So if I start with 10x cubed, because 3 is my biggest exponent, what comes next? The 25x squared. What comes after that? Plus 4x. And what comes last? Minus 10. Alright, whenever we're factoring something with 4 terms, what do we do always? Split it in half. Okay, what goes into 10x cubed and 25x squared? 5. Okay. What's 10x cubed divided by 5x squared? 2x. Okay, and 25x squared divided by 5x squared? Negative 5. Okay. What goes into 4 and 10? 2. 4x divided by 2 is 10 divided by 2 is 5. So what's the same? What's left over? Very good. Alright, so any questions on number 9 about what happens when we split them? Pretty straightforward. Alright, number 10, we're continuing to factor, so we're given the expression x squared plus 6x plus 5. Do I have a leading coefficient? No. Okay, when you don't have a leading coefficient, then we just start at the back. So factors of 5 that add to 6. 5 and 1. Okay, x squared splits into what? X and x. Is this 5 positive or negative? Okay, what about my 1? Positive. So x plus 5, x plus 1. Alright, number 11, x squared minus 8x plus 15. Do I have a leading coefficient? Okay, so factors of 15 that add to negative 8. Negative 5 plus negative 3. Okay, we just determined that x squared breaks down into what, Niles? What does x squared break down into? Okay. So what goes in my first set of parentheses? And in my second set? Okay, x plus negative 3, or you can write it x minus 3. Either one is correct. Alright, so any questions on number 11? Alright, on 12, x squared minus 4x minus 21. Do I have a leading coefficient? Okay, so factors of 21 that subtract to negative 4. 3 and 7. Very good. 3 minus 7. So x squared we determined breaks down into x and x. We just determined that we have a 3 and a minus 7. Is that 3 positive? Positive. Alright, so everybody good with number 12? Alright, 2 more like that. So 2x squared plus 9x plus 7. Do I have a leading coefficient? Okay, so we take 2 times 7. Calling what is 2 times 7? 14. Okay, so kind of what are my factors of 14 that add to 9?
Okay.
7 plus 2. Okay. So 2x squared plus 7x plus 2x plus 7. What do I do whenever I have 4 terms? Split it in half. Okay, so what goes into a 2x squared and a 7x? 1x. What's 2x squared divided by 1x? 2x. And 7x divided by 1x? 7. Okay, what goes into 2 and 7? 1. 2x divided by 1 is 7 divided by 1 is. So what's the same? What's left over? Very good. So 2x plus 7 and 1x plus 1. Alright, so any questions on 13? Okay. And if we look at 14, 2x squared plus 9x minus 18. Do I have a leading coefficient? Okay, so what do I need to do first? Okay. So 2 times 18 is 36. So factors of 36 to subtract 9. Three and 12, okay. 3 minus 12 gives me negative 9. But I want to pop that 9, so I just switch them.
Whoever has a list of my classes envelope.
Okay, so 12 minus 3 gives me 9. So 2x squared plus 12x minus 3x minus 18. What do I do when I have 4 terms? Split it in half. Okay, Niles, what goes into a 2x squared and a 12x? What goes into 2 and 12? 2. What goes into x squared and x? Okay, Taylor, what's 2x squared divided by 2x?
2.
2 divided by 2 is 1, and how many x's do I have left? X. Okay. 12x divided by 2x is 6. Okay. Alright, fine, what goes into 3 and 18? Okay. What's negative 3x divided by negative 3? 1x. What's negative 18 divided by negative 3? Negative 18 divided by negative 3. Alright, Ethan, what's the same? What's left over? Very good. So 1x plus 6 and 2x minus 3. So any questions on 14? No. Okay. So then once we get to 15, we start looking at our special products, okay? And so we learned about those in our last section. So we have perfect square trinomials, and we have the differences of 2 squares. So we're going to start with perfect square trinomials. So I'm given a squared plus 14a plus 49, and I'm asked to determine if it's a perfect square. Okay, so in order for it to be a perfect square, what do we know has to be the same? They both have to be the same, right? So both of our factors have to be the same. So let's factor this and see if that's true. Do I have a leading coefficient? No, so I'll start at the back. Factor the 49 that add to 14. 7 and 7. So are they the same? Okay, so I know I get 2 positive 7s. What goes here?
8.
Very good. So a plus 7 times a plus 7. So any questions on 15? Alright. On 16, we're given 2x squared plus 10x plus 25. Do I have a leading coefficient? Yes. Okay, so 2 times 25 is 50. So factor the 50 that add to 10. Niles, give me a factor of 50.
25 and 2.
25 and 2. Okay, does that work? Kyle, give me a factor of 50.
5 times 10.
5 times 10. Does that work? No. Okay, what's my last factor of 50? I guess it's not my last one, or maybe it is. And does that work?
No.
So what do we know about this problem then? It's not factorable. Very good. Alright, so any questions on 16? Alright, then if I move on to 17, I'm told to figure out if this is the difference of two squares. So, there's two things that have to happen for it to be the difference of two squares. What do we think the first thing is?
Ready to add two.
Okay, so it has to have no middle term, right? Nothing in the middle. Okay, what's the second thing that we think has to happen? It deals with breaking these down. How do we break those down? Kind of. We find our factors, okay? And so what do we know about our factors of each of these? They aren't exactly even. They're the same, okay? So two things. You have to have no middle term, and these numbers have to be the same, okay? For it to be the difference of two squares. So what are my factors of x squared? X and x. What are my factors of 16? 4 and 4, because we remember they have to be the same. Okay, and then what do I know about this minus? 1's minus, 1's plus. Okay, so is this the difference of two squares? Yes, because they break down into two different things. Okay, so then what do I know about each of my sets of parentheses? Perfect, x minus 4, x plus 4. So it's the difference of two squares, it has no middle term, and the numbers end up being the same. Alright, so any questions on 17? No. Okay, 18. 25y squared minus 10. Let's break this down so we can tell if it's the difference of two squares. What are my factors? 5 and 5, and y squared gives me y and y. Okay, what are my factors of 10 that are the same?
Nope.
There are none, right? Our only factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5, so there's none that are the same. So is this a perfect square? I mean the difference of two squares? No. Yep, it's not factorable. If it's a no, it's not factorable. Alright, so any questions on 18? Alright. Last one, that 19, last one like this. 9a squared minus b to the 10th. What are my factors of 9? 3 and 3. So 3a and 3a. What about b to the 10th? b5 and b5. Very good. Alright, and this minus tells me what? One's negative, one's positive, one's negative. Okay. So if I break this down, then what's my first set of parentheses look like? Okay, and my second one? Very good. Right, so any questions on 19? Nope, pretty straightforward. Alright, on 20 is where we get to probably the harder ones on your test. Okay, they're not hard, but they're harder. Okay, so if I look at 20, it says determine whether each expression is completely factored. If not, continue factoring it. Okay, so when I do that, that means I have to split each set of parentheses and look at each set on its own. So if I look at each set on its own, if I look at the left, is there anything that goes into a 6x minus 3? 3. So if I take away a 3 from each of those, 6x divided by 3 is 2x, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, if I come over here, is there anything that goes into an x plus 5 besides 1? No. Okay, so that means then that this just comes straight down because we're not going to change it at all. So x plus 5. And then we're done. So that's BA is no because it wasn't completely factored. And B is the answer. Okay, so we're going to ask you to do A and B. Your A is no, it wasn't completely factored. And B is your answer. Alright, so 21. I didn't include my A's and B's. If I split this, is there anything that can go into an x to the 5th plus 10?
No.
No. Okay, so it just comes straight down. Is there anything that can go into an x to the 5th minus 10? No, so it comes straight down. So was this completely factored to begin with? Yes, because we didn't change it at all. And so then over here, we put that it was complete. We are almost done. Alright, back page. Back page is the best page. Nope. No, because we're factoring. Okay, so 8x cubed plus 72x squared plus 160x. First thing we always try to do is factor out our GCF. So is there anything that goes into 8, 72, and 160? 8. Okay, so we're going to take out an 8. What goes into an x cubed, x squared, and x? X. So our first thing is we're going to factor out an 8x. That will make our problem look a lot simpler. So if I do that, 8x cubed divided by 8x is 1x squared. Okay, 72x squared divided by 8x is 9x. And 160x divided by 8x is 20. Okay. Now, each time we go to tell if it's all the way done, we look at just each set of parentheses. So I ignore the 8x for now, and if I'm looking at just this set of parentheses, I have to decide if that's factorable. So I don't have a leading coefficient, right? My leading coefficient is 1. So I'm looking for factors of 20 that add to 9. Are there any factors of 20 that add to 9? Think of your factors of 5 and 4. 5 and 4 will add to 9. So this part that I underlined in green actually factors to, very good, to x plus 5 and x plus 4. And your 8x just comes straight down. It just always tags along.
So the bottom one is the answer.
Well, that's what we just said. Is there any way that we can break down x plus 5? Okay, what about x plus 4? No, right? So now we're finally done. So any questions on 22? No? Okay. So if I look at 23, 3x to the 5th plus 27x cubed. First thing I have to do is factor out my GCF if I have one. So is there anything that goes into 3 and 27? 3. And what about x to the 5th and x cubed? X cubed. Okay. So 3x to the 5th divided by 3x cubed is 1x squared. And 27x cubed divided by 3x cubed is 9. Okay, so ignoring the 3x cubed for now, and looking at just my 1x squared, can I break 1x squared plus 9? Can I break that down any further? No. So, this is my final answer. 2 more, we're almost there.
So you split this one in half.
Yes. Alright, so on 24, 8x cubed plus 64x squared minus 20x minus 160. Anytime we have 4 terms, we split it in half. So what do I know goes into an 8 and a 64? And x cubed and x squared? Alright, what's 8x cubed divided by 8x squared? 1x. And 64x squared divided by 8x? 8. Okay, what goes into 20 and 160? 20, and because of this minus, we're taking out a minus 20. Negative 20 divided by negative 20 is 1x. Negative 160 divided by negative 20, bless you, is 8. Alright, so what ends up being the same? 1x plus 8. And what ends up being left over? Okay. And as I said, we have to always decide after we do that whether each parenthesis can be split. So is there any number that goes into 1x plus 8? Okay, what about 8x squared minus 20? 4 goes into both of these. So 8x squared divided by 4 is 2x squared. 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. And this 1x plus 8 comes straight down. Now, we already determined there's nothing we can do to 1x plus 8, but what about this 2x squared minus 5? Can we break that down any further? No. So now, we're finally done. Alright. So last one, 25, 100x squared minus 80x plus 16. First thing we have to do is factor out my GCF. So is there any number that goes into 180 and 64? Okay. What about, can I take out any x's? No, because I don't have an x on my 16, so the only thing I can take out is 4. So 100x squared divided by 4 is 25x squared, and 80x squared divided by 4 is negative 20x, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. Alright, so we factor out 4. Now all I care about is what's left in my parentheses, so 25x squared minus 20x plus 4. Because I have a leading coefficient, what do I have to do? Multiply. So 25 times 4 is 100. So factors of 100 that add to 20 are negative 20. What are my factors of 100 that add to 20? 10 and 10. And since we wanted negative 20, we just make them negative. So what's in my parentheses becomes 25x squared minus 10x minus 10x plus 4. Alright, Connie, what do I do when I have 4 terms?
You split it in half.
Split it in half. And I'm ignoring this 4 for now. Keep that in mind. I haven't forgotten about it. I'm just ignoring it. Okay, what goes into 25x squared and 10x? 5x. So 25x squared divided by 5x is 5x. And 10x divided by 5x is 2. What goes into 10x and 4? 2. And because of this minus, I have to take out a minus. So 10x divided by 2 is 5x. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. Okay, so what ends up being the same? 5x minus 2, and what ends up being left over? Okay, and what's the last thing I have to add back in? The 4. The 4 that I ignored at the beginning. Alright, so any questions on 25?
No.
No. Okay.